Hello everyone, welcome back to the course Travel Agency and Tour Operations. Today we look at airlines as one of the main products of the TANTO that many companies selling air tickets for airline companies. And actually the TANTO, they don't have aircraft but they can sell air tickets. That's because of the airline companies authorized uh, power for them, system for them to sell the air tickets. So this is chapter 4 of the TANTO course. Let's have a look at our content for the course. After studying this lesson, students will be able to identify what is IATA. We will look at what is IATA in general, that many airline companies register to be member of the IATA. We will look at facts and figures about airlines, and we will also look at the linkage between airline companies and TANTO. All right, so what is IATA? IATA is an association that established in 1919 when only a few airline companies, at that time I think 6 airlines, agreed to establish the Air Traffic Association. The goal is to foster collaboration between all airline companies. Collaboration here refers to the way that they exchange information, the way that they strengthen safety and security among airline companies and airports, as well as the exchange passengers and marketing activities and join as a team, things like that. All right. Okay. Do you know that airspace throughout the world is not easy to control? Not many airline companies just freely fly over another country. That is because with law and regulations that they govern the right to fly over another country. The right here refers to, do you have a right to fly over my country, or you don't have right to fly over country A or country B. That's because you have follow rules and regulations to fly over another country and to land in another country as well. You don't have a right to fly, to land in my country, you cannot land it. So you have to land in the water, in the sea, and other space and area that the country or authority authorize you to land or to take off, and to collect and deliver passengers to and from another country. For example, you don't have right to stop over at my country to collect and to transfer passengers only if I authorize that. Okay, you can come and land in my country, yeah, and things like that. So airspace is not easily controlled. We have rules and regulations and very strictly control over one national airspace or international airspace. Just in case you sell air tickets, and you have to be aware that airspace is complicated and you have right and to land or to take off or to transfer passengers. All right. One airline company can fly, as far as I know, perhaps to 150 destinations and about 80 countries. For example, some airline companies in Cambodia fly to maybe 10 destinations, but the airline that I put it here, they fly to 150 destinations and to up to 80 countries. That's a lot. For example, some 50 million passengers pass through London Heathrow Airport every year. That means about 100,000 people every day. This is not the case about COVID-19, that many airline companies bankrupted and they cut fly, they delay and they cancel flights, or perhaps they just don't fly. But in general, without thinking of COVID-19, just in the case of London airport, over 100,000 people fly every day. So airline industry is so big. All right. If you look at the aircraft, aircraft have long, medium, and short range flying abilities. They are not easily interchangeable between routes. Okay, look, I put these two aircrafts together. On the top is a bit smaller than the below one. That means they have medium flying abilities and perhaps a short range flying abilities. Abilities mean you can fly only 2 hours using the small aircraft. Or perhaps you use a long flying abilities. That means you can fly long haul. That means the cabin that you can contain the fuel, which is a lot more than smaller aircraft, and then you can fly longer than other short range flying abilities. That is the case for you to be aware of the types of aircraft. I don't get information. I don't go into detail for you. In the case that you are interested in airline industry, we will have more detail than this. We will look at the Boeing type of aircraft or Airbus type of aircraft and a lot more information about aircraft. Okay, so just a bit more for you about aircraft types. You will see each aircraft has a code denoting its type. For example, the Jet 1 stands as J, prop jet, T, propeller, P, helicopter as an H, or seaplane as an A. Alright, so what is the Jet 1? Okay, look at here. The Jet 1 is the top left hand side. You can see the white with the gentleman standing in front of it. That is the jet. Usually we call private jet. Private jet is very modern and expensive. The proper prop jet is the one you can see on the top right hand side. It is jet, but it has a fan, the engine at the front. But the middle one is called the third one, propeller as in P. The propeller is a kind of small aircraft type with the fan, what we call the propeller, like you see in the middle here. And the right hand side, the red one, which is helicopter. It's easy to remember. And the last one on your left hand side, the bottom here, which is called a seaplane. Okay, seaplane, the plane that can land on and it's very safe water, on water and on sea. Okay, let's move back to the airlines. Okay, airline passengers are offered the option of paying a supplement to have priority check-in at the airport. In case you don't want to stand long queue, you want a fast service because you have problems with your legs and things like that, you can pay or you can go to check in a prioritized line where you can pay a supplement, more sitting space in case that you want to sit a larger seat. You don't have to buy an economy class seat. You should buy a business class seat where you can have more space, or even in economy class seat you can buy a larger space as well. Faster baggage clearance and things like that. It is always worth making sure that your client is aware of these benefits. Okay, you have to be aware when you work in agency, in TA or TO, even you don't work for airports or even you don't work for airline companies, but you should be aware of these benefits and services for your passengers as well. And especially can be booked at the same time as they purchase the holiday package tour. You should provide them this information. Okay, let's look at the airport information. When you organize an itinerary, okay, itinerary is the schedule for your trip, for the package tour that you sell to travelers. When you organize it, you should include air travel and stopover, okay, en route. The following headings may have: 1. Facilities at the airport. What are facilities provided to passengers at the airport? 2. Transport to and from airports. Flight details, you have to be aware to understand how to read the flight details. Departure time and date, arrival time and date, or cancellation, or even full name of passengers and other requirements in the flight details and airport that they land or stop over. Passport and visa. We'll look at more details about passport and visa. Minimum connecting times. if they have to connect with the other airport, they have to have what time and how long does it take for connecting time. Time differences in Phnom Penh, for example, is 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Okay, in Seoul, for example, it should be around 12 noon or 2 p.m. Things like that. That is the time differences. Hotel accommodation, class of travel, like I said, class of travel, whether your passenger purchase economy class seat or they like to buy business class seat. For some rich people, they purchase air ticket for first class seat. Attractions of each stopover. For example, you travel from Phnom Penh to New Zealand, you stop over in Singapore, so you should provide some attractions for your passengers because the stopover time should be around 3 to 4 hours or up to 6 hours. You should tell them that they have some time to hang around in the city and what are the attractions. Last one, a special service for passengers. Okay, we will look at more in special services for passengers. Okay, I just want to introduce some differences between terminologies. The terminologies, we can say the terms or the words that you use, for example, airport, airlines, aircraft, and airplane. Some people still confuse what is the difference between these terminologies. For example, on your left hand side, you can see a picture of new Phnom Penh Airport. It is under construction in a bit far from the city every day. Nowadays, that is the airport. Okay, the airport is just a place where your airline companies can land your aircraft, can park your aircraft, you can take off and facilitate the flight. Passengers can come to embark or disembark from the aircraft. It's a place where they facilitate your flight. Okay, that is the airport. It's a place. In the middle here is the list of names of airline companies. So we call airlines. Okay, airlines are companies, or we can say airline companies. So here you can see Air China, ANA, Japan Airlines, Emirates, Jetstar, KLM. Among all of these are names of airline companies, or we just say airlines. Okay, so airlines are different from airport. Last one, that is aircraft, or we can say, oh, look at the sky, that is airplane, or aeroplane, that is aircraft. So you have to distinguish between aircraft and airlines. One airline company can have many aircrafts. Okay, so you park your aircraft at the airport. So try to distinguish between airport, airlines, and aircraft. If you have any questions, start it with air, you can text me in comments and I answer to you what is the difference between the other airways, for example, or airplane or aeroplane or aircraft and things like that. Still have comments and questions, can ask me later. A bit more. Okay, wait, I move to next slide over here. Okay, this is the information about passports, visas, and health regulations. Some passengers traveling overseas, they travel from another country, need to have valid travel documents. When you travel overseas, living from your country to another, you need to have passport. Passport is your valid your travel documents, and your travel documents have to be valid. That means at least you have in general 6 months of validity of your passport. Don't hold the expired passport with you when you travel, or else you cannot leave, you cannot travel next to the other destinations. Everyone always needs a passport, often a visa. Okay, a visa in case you living for example out of the Asian region, you need to have visa. In case you are nationality of the Asian region for the 10 countries, you don't have to have a visa. Last one, some requirements for certificate to meet health regulations. Just in case, you look at the example on your left hand side here, Thai Airway International announced that you have to have a certificate clarifying that you don't have COVID-19. Make sure that you don't transmit the virus to other passengers. So you have to have this certificate in case you travel with Thai Airway International. All right. So what is a visa? A visa is an entry. Okay, an entry. If you don't have visa, you cannot come to country A. You cannot go to country B because you don't have visa. Especially some strict countries such as America, for example, even it's hard to ask for visa, and even you have visa, sometimes still have some obstacles during the traveling. A visa is an entry in a passport made by a consular official of a government to indicate that the barrier has been granted authority to enter or re-enter the country concerned. So if you want to go to America, for example, you have to apply for visa. How long does it take? It takes a long time. You have to go for interview in the embassy, and you have to pay a lot of money to to pay for the visa. Even you don't have visa, you also have to pay a lot of money for the visa fee. Okay, the types of visa include a tourist visa. Okay, if you are a tourist, you also do you need to have a tourist visa, transit visa, immigrant visa, diplomatic visa. Okay, I don't get into detail for you to understand how long does it take for each visa type and how much does it cost. That's because of the difference between country to country, where they regulate that how much they charge for, or how long does it take, or they grant for each type of visa. Okay. All right, here we see special services for passengers. Some airline companies are able to make special arrangements for certain passengers, such as young flyers. Some children are required to travel alone because they don't have parents, or because the problem with their family, they um, require that child has to travel alone. So they ask service from your company, whether you work for TA or TO. Even TA and TO have authority from the airline companies providing services for young flyers. You should be aware that, okay, you can travel, but or only if they have the conditions, yes, and this and that. The other special service for VIPs, very important persons, such as royal family, the government officials, you can arrange special services for passengers like that. People with mobility problems. Some passengers cannot walk. Some passengers they have a disability. They cannot move themselves. Or expectant mothers, for example, a lady has 8 months pregnancy. Some airline companies say over 8 months pregnant passengers cannot travel with their airline companies. You should be aware of that. But some other airline companies say, 8 months is okay, because usually women give birth around 9 months and 10 days, or 9 months or 5 days, or 9 months something. So 8 months old is, I mean, the period of 8 months is okay. But you have to note that the lady is expectant mothers. Okay, a few cases that women passengers give birth in the air, and yeah, you should be aware of that case as well. People who require special meals or diets, they don't eat meat, they eat only vegetarians, or they don't eat beef, chickens, or they eat only fish. You should be aware of this kind of special service as well. All right, let's move to the free baggage allowance. Some clients will need to know how much baggage they are allowed to take onto the aircraft with them. Okay, usually 23 kgs for short haul or long haul, or 30 kgs. It depends on airline companies that they allow the free baggage allowance. This information you can find in air transport manual in websites of the airline companies, or the airline companies provide the information to TA and TO regularly. In general, the free baggage allowance depends on the class of travel as well. Okay, if you take business class seat, you have more baggage allowance than economy class seat. But the first class seat is more, the most baggage allowance compared to economy and business class seats. This is the other extra airport information that you should be able to advise to your passengers on the following car park facilities and cost. For example, if you park your car in Phnom Penh International Airport, if you go to the long, they have different kind of lanes. If you go to drop off lane, or just where you go to the wrong lane, you might pay a lot more money. Public transport, the length and estimated time of journey, information desk or information counter, check-in desk. Are there any banks or ATMs in the airport? Business centers in the airport, printing or fax machines at the airport, baggage security or lost and found place. Any post office at the airport, and which airport has post office service, nursing mother's room, prayer rooms, things like that, public telephones, restaurants, bars, or lounges. Okay, a lot more the information related with airport or airline that you should be aware of to tell your customers. Okay, now it's important for you to look at this slide where we look at the linkage between suppliers, airline companies, with travel agents and to consumers. Again, I used to explain that there's a linkage between suppliers such as airlines, trains, buses, hotels, restaurants, to travel agents, and linked to customers. Some consumers purchase air tickets from airline companies directly, but some consumers ask TA and TO. So you are in the middle here. You work in TA and TO. You are in the middle, or middle here is only TA. So you have linkage on your left hand side with airline companies, and you have linkage with consumers on your right hand side. So you are what we say the middleman, that you facilitate issuing tickets from suppliers, or we can say disciplines such as airline companies, to consumers, and then you earn as commission or percentage that the airline companies say that you can earn $10 per ticket, or 10% from the air, or 5% from the air ticket costs or fees, things like that. All right. Now, in case that you have any questions or comments, please drop down below, and I will answer to you. Now, we come to a discussion. An exercise for you to do individually. To test your geography knowledge, try to write down in which countries the following cities are located. So we have Mandras, the name of the city. So which country is it in? Istanbul, the name of the city, and which country is it in? Beirut, Damascus, Kuala Lumpur. So a lot of cities name here. You should find country's name on your right hand side. Okay. All right, so that's it for chapter 4, that we look at the airlines for TA and TO. A very short summary for the knowledge of airlines that play a big role in TA and TO. In case we have the course of the airlines individually, we can learn in details, or you already learn airline course, you have more knowledge than those who don't learn yet. Okay, So that's it for airlines lesson in chapter 4. And thanks for your listening. Any comments and questions you can ask me later. Okay, have a good day. Bye bye.